Hello and welcome to the Side One YouTube channel. My name is Ray, and in this video, part 8 of Fred's left arm or left shoulder rebuild, we're going to attach the forearm to the bottom of the bicep. So in one of the previous videos in this series, I did go through all of the process of setting the pot up, which is on the far side of course, where you can't see it. So that we could just test and make sure this was actually going to work. Now when we're attaching this, we're going to be aligning a gear, and I'll try and put an image on the screen for this. We're going to align a gear with what is essentially this gear on the elbow. Now on the previous build, you can see I had an index mark with some texture, and I have done some playing with this and worked out where the index mark will be on the pot, the pot gear on the bicep. So this is going to help me align it up properly, and I can do that straight off. But if you've never done this in the past and you don't know how to align it, I'm going to go through that process anyway. So before we start, the first thing I'm going to do is disengage the thread from the nut in the bicep. When we apply power to the servo, if the command position and the actual servo are not, or the pot are not aligned, it will rotate this. And without a direct connection between the arm and the servo to rotate this properly, it will break something. So we want to avoid that. So I'm just going to screw this out so that I can't accidentally break it. Okay, now the other thing I'm going to do is extend the wire for the servo so I don't have the control floating around getting knocked. This is just I think a 400mm extension for remote control. I'll pass it through the same location as where the wires for the pot run. I'll grab my handy dandy servo tester and the batteries for it. So I've got this set at around about 860. A little bit above 800 on the servo tester. That's in microseconds, so that's close to the 0 degree range that's specified on the in-move site for the left bicep. The max is 90 degrees, so that's when the bicep is fully flexed. I'm going to plug this in, and that might make this turn. I'm lucky it doesn't. So this temporary connection point for the forearm, the elbow shaft gear, is currently sitting pretty straight. If I rotate that so that it bends it up, you'll see this is rotating to push out. And if we move this up, wrong way. When we get past it, tries to pull in, that would bend it up more. So you can see that we've got that fairly well aligned. But that's not the one we want. So I'm going to aim for around about the 860 mark. It gives us a little bit of headroom. We can tweak that up in our configuration in the InMove 2 program when we get to it. Now that I know that that is roughly, or the pot is roughly in the right spot for the arm being straight, we're going to remove this bolt and we'll remove our temporary gear. I just dropped the nut. As you pull this out, try not to turn the pot. So yeah, this is printed in resin. If I ever print, it's used on both the left and the right side. So if I print the right side in resin for the forearm, I'll be able to weld that straight on. Okay, so this is slowly turning out, so it has rotated a little bit in. Now we're going to try and push this one on. Now this is where it gets interesting, because you've got to try to align the holes going through these holes and engage the gear without turning the gear while keeping this reasonably straight. And I misaligned that. I think that's pretty close there. And that's all the way open. And at I got 846 on this, which is pretty close. Now, I would normally do that up reasonably soon. You don't want it too tight, but you do want it into the nylon on that nylon. Now at this point, I'm going to disconnect power off this, because I want to be able to turn this as I'm putting it in. And if you've got power onto it, you won't be able to turn it. Now there is a bolt for that. Found it. Okay, this is my specially modified bolt. What I've done is I've ground a flat into one side that goes down to near enough level with the threads, and that's so that it'll fit through the hole and I can actually do it up. So you'll find this side there is less clearance than on this side. So the little flat goes on there. Roll that out if you like. So. Got it. And again, a nylock on the other side. Now, if I connect this up again, got a little bit of resistance somewhere. It's about max lift there. I think I've got a power loss. Could be through this very thin wire. That's a little bit over the 90-degree mark that's specified on the in-move site, but it is there. There is some resistance there somewhere, and I am going to have to look in a bit further and find out where it's coming from. That resistance could be anything from hot glue on the side of my pot holder grabbing somewhere. Don't think that's it though. I'll have a play with that a bit later. It could be also the piston hitting on the wires inside, so I'll check that out as well because I don't want to damage that. I'm just going to pull the power off that because these servos do tend to hum a little bit. When they're humming, they are getting hot. Alright, so I printed these out. These actually get printed as cobwebs on this cat hair on this one. So these are printed out as a set of 4 parts in one go, and then a set of 4 parts in one go. You separate the parts out and then you can join them. So in PLA I welded them originally and they came up alright. In this one I used the resin as a glue and then exposed with UV light. So these are the side covers for the bicep, so we'll fit those on now. So this is the front set and this is the back set. So on the back here on the reinforcer there is a groove. Slide the tongue into the groove and then there's some little clips in here that align with holes in the frame. tip. There's a little groove in there that this one fits into. And the last one to fit is this front cover. So these are all called covers 1, 2 and 3. This one comes as 2 parts together in the one print. You separate the 2 parts and then you glue it in the middle there. And that's his forearm done. So the next trick for me, disconnect this extension. These are the wires coming up from the PCA 9685 for the bicep. So I'll just plug that back in, making sure the yellow wires align. And I have a plug and a socket, and I can plug those together, making sure the red marked sides, which is the power, are aligned. And we're done. So in the next videos coming out, I will put his backpack on, and then we'll go through the process of finishing up, setting up the way the Move 2 drives the servos. To be notified when that comes out, don't forget to click on like, subscribe and ring that notification bell. It's also a form of support that helps the channel a great deal and costs you absolutely nothing. If you'd like to support the channel further, I do have a Patreon account, and you can join my VIP patrons Go Lucky and Lorenz Berger, and my builder patron El Morales 45 in helping to support the channel. If you have any questions, either leave a comment below or drop into one of the Discords and ask your question there. There will be a list of them in the description below, including my channel's Discord, the official InMove, the unofficial InMove, and my robot lab. And we'll see you in the next video.